one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it, because you can.
This story comes to us from WDRB, going to Louisville, or some say Louisville or Louisville, but we're going there. The city of Louisville agreed to pay 4 people a total of $650,000 for being wrongfully arrested by a former Louisville police detective to settle a lawsuit that has been pending since 2010. You got that right. Former Louisville Metro Police Detective Crystal Marlowe arrested more than a dozen people over a 2-year period who could not have committed the crimes either because they were already in jail at the time or because of other evidence that supports their innocence. Now, the plaintiffs in the lawsuit were Vaughn Carter, Robert Mitchum, Dale Todd, and Rashad White. Carter, for example, claimed he was charged with robbery he did not commit. He was in jail for 3 days and had to spend time and money expunging his record after the charges were eventually dismissed. Cost him money. He's not going to get that. Well, he get the money back. They awarded him. In one of the other cases not a part of the settlement, a University of Louisville student who was wrongfully arrested was awarded $2.25 million by a jury in 2019. In December of 2007, Marlowe issued an arrest warrant for Tiffany Washington, then a U of Louisville student, after the detective said a robbery victim was able to positively ID her as one of the perpetrators. But Tiffany Washington had bank statements, pictures, telephone records, and eyewitness testimony showing that she was in Henderson County, which is 130 miles away, on the night of the robbery. Washington spent 5 days in jail before her $50,000 cash bond was reduced to an amount she was able to post bond. A grand jury chose not to indict her. Let me nail that down real quick. So this girl was 130 miles away on this night this robbery occurs. They positively, that's her. Yep, she's the one. She did it. But the point is, she spent 5 days in jail. She can't get those 5 days back. She was in jail at the time. For what? Something she didn't do. And somebody positively ID'd her? Was it the old lady from My Cousin Vinny? Time for a new prescription. However, the Kentucky Court of Appeals threw out the verdict, ruling that Tiffany Washington's lawsuit should have been dismissed by the trial judge because the suit was filed after the state's 1-year statute of limitations. The final 4 cases remain unresolved and were heading to trial, but instead settled on April 22nd of this year, with the city agreeing to pay $650,000 to the plaintiffs, with the stipulation that Metro government was not admitting guilt, according to the settlement obtained by WDRB News under the Kentucky Open Records Act. Now the case is over to the satisfaction of the 4 remaining plaintiffs, said attorney John Bahi, who represents the plaintiffs along with the co-counsel Ryan Van Trees. They said, "We feel that justice was done. They're looking forward to moving on with their lives." Marlowe was fired in 2011 after a police investigation showed she arrested several defendants, many of them juveniles, for crimes they did not commit. And it goes down from there. It talks about how the lawsuits have lingered in court for several years. Yeah, since 2010. 14 years these people waited to get their money. But you got malicious prosecution here. You got Marlowe arresting people for crimes they didn't commit. I mean, she's just one detective. How many other cops are doing this and not caught yet? How many people are going to jail for crimes they didn't commit? You see. But you got all these people, anytime someone, gets upset with the cops, people go, "Why don't you just go along with it? You committed the crime. You got to do the time." That's not always the case, as we see.